Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition. Hello there, Gary. Hello, Rebecca. Hello, Gene Hudson and Science Bob, as everybody's starting to slide in on a Monday evening. How is Peter? How is Angela?
Very good. And how are you, Grizzly?
Oh, wonderful for a Monday evening. Cannot complain. Hello, Joanne Stewart. Welcome, everybody. Nice to have you here. Yeah, so 6 p.m. Eastern. It's 6:04 now. So welcome, everybody. Round of applause. And Judy Greenfield, another round of applause. So how's everybody doing tonight?
Good. Now the things we're a week away from Thanksgiving, big holiday, and where everybody throughout the world, I think. I don't know if every country celebrates Thanksgiving, but I know we started from we go back to the Pilgrims and the Indians and so Thanksgiving is coming up, and I'm busy. I'm busy, and uh, been on the telephone during the week with Angela and talking about things that are going on. And I have people that always call me and they text me and they go, "When's the next great segment on Grizzly on the Hunt?" And I said the next one is coming up Monday. So yeah, you're being watched, I think, around the world, my friend.
Yes, yes. And Angela, your mic's muted, hon. Yes.
Okay.
There you go. So everybody was saying hello to you and they didn't hear you.
Oh, I didn't hear. Hello, everybody. I saw Rebecca.
Yes. Gary was saying everybody. Everybody was saying hello.
Gary.
Hello, Lizzie. Welcome.
Lizzie.
So,
Hello, Lizzie.
Rita.
Hello,
Welcome,
Rita.
everybody. So what we got intel tonight?
Hello, Eric.
Well, I wanted to give a little background. Months ago, it must have been about 6 months ago, I take time out from my busy schedule to try and connect with like-minded people in the spiritual, the metaphysical, astrological, and psychic world. And my guides kept on bringing me back to a advertisement. Well, it wasn't really an advertisement. It was more of a woman talking about what her ability. So my guide said to me, for your show, contact Lady Phyllis. And I said, all right, let me see if this delightful lady would like to be on the show. Well, to my surprise, she is not only incredibly gifted in the metaphysical world, but she is the CEO of a corporation that's global. And she gave me a reading, a mini reading. And literally, I'm not impressed that easily, Angela Grizzly, but she said to me, well, let me show you what I'm capable of doing. Well, when I had the mini reading, I believe it was on the show here, Lady Phyllis named people, first names from people in my family. And she also named people from Angela's family and her family. And she was such a dynamic, articulate, outspoken, gifted person that I felt the holidays are coming up and I wanted to have her back on the show. So, without further ado, I would like to introduce our good friend, Lady Phyllis, to our TV show.
Phyllis, come on down.
Hi.
Oh, there.
Hi.
Welcome.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes. So I'm excited about two other things that they're reminding me about. And the guys are saying to me, and you just told us, I know you are an amazing, prolific author and writer, and I'd like the world to know what the newest addition to your writing family are.
Well, I've written 83 books.
Wow.
And I've written and published 83 books. And I've written them under different names. I write children's books under Carol P. Roman, Carole P. Roman. And I write adult fiction under Britt London. And then I started writing books. I started teaching. What happened was one of the people that I work with kept saying, why don't you teach? Why don't you teach? And, I started out as a teacher. I was a teacher 46 years ago. I was a social studies teacher. So I said, all right, I'll try it. And to my surprise, by the time we finished level 1, everybody wanted me to do a level 2. So I did a level 2, and now I'm back at level 1 with the new group. We're finishing level 2 with that group. And in January, I'll do a level 3. But I actually wrote, these were my lesson plans. I turned them into a book. They're pretty slim and easy to, yeah. And it's not hard. Mediumship Made Easy, a guide to connect with your intuitive self. and expanding mediumship, exploring the ways the universe is contacting you, communicating with you. And the whole idea is, I'm only doing this 3 years. That's all.
Amazing.
I started doing it. What had happened was, I was going to mediums because I wanted to speak with my parents or my grandparents
Yes.
or whatever. And I would go to mediums and I'd go to psychics. And then when my husband passed, I was going to a lot of mediums, like almost weekly. I was going wherever I could. And I went to a Ronald McDonald function. And at the function, I booked 3 different mediums. You know, it's kind of like speed dating, but it's speed mediumship.
Yes.
And all 3 of them said to me, your family's saying you should be doing this. And the last one said to me, not only should you be doing it, I'm going to teach you. So this was December of 2019. So we started doing it through FaceTime. He started teaching me. He was new at mediumship, but he was teaching me. And then the pandemic happened. So I found myself alone in the house. I wasn't able to see my kids. I wasn't able to go to work. My business was pretty much took 50 years to build it, 10 minutes to unravel with COVID. So I was in the house taking care of the business, doing what I could to keep it together. And I just started taking courses. And I took course after course after course. Kim Russo and Thomas John and Joe Shield and you name it, Richard Knight. I was taking multiple courses. Well, I took a mentorship, and out of 86 people in the mentorship class, I was the only one that Thomas John endorsed. And so my kids had a podcast, and they invited me on without my knowing what was going to happen. I thought we were going to talk about business, and they had people calling in, and I have to see people. I can't do it through writing. I have to see faces.
You have to see people.
Right. So they would have people on, they got a connection, and I started reading people, and that gave me the confidence to hang out a shingle. So it's 2 years now that I'm doing it on my own. And so now I'm teaching. And the last book I published is this one, makes a great stocking stuffer, and it's 366 affirmations and inspirations to live by. And my son wrote the foreword. And it's a beautiful foreword because he said, listen to my mother. She knows what she's talking about. I've reinvented myself a million times. I've risen from the ashes, I don't know how many times. And just now we were talking about the strike in Hollywood. I service the Hollywood industry with
I remember you telling us, yes.
So we rose again. Smells wonderful. Thank you. Yeah, it does. And I rose from the ashes once again, and I did it with these kind of affirmations. I wake up every morning and I talk to myself, and I've taught my children to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the secret sauce to success, is believing in yourself. And that's what I teach in my course. I mean, you know, when all of these people came into class, you could see the look of terror in their eyes when you say to them, okay, we're going to separate up, or I'm going to bring on a picture. I want you to say what you see.
Right.
But it's a no, it's a zone where everything you say is okay. And there's nothing can be wrong. And it's about building confidence. So the course has been really successful.
So at this point, are you? Do you do anything? How do you get your clients? How do you promote yourself?
I do it mostly on Facebook, Instagram. I'm on Medium, you know, the international blog. I write articles on there.
Yes.
It's really funny because I write articles on there as Carol P. Roman, but I write about mediumship on there.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of word of mouth. You know, I have, I think, 50 reviews at this point, and you know, that will make people book, because if you read the reviews, they're pretty good. And what I did was I met with someone who said you have to put up content. So I started creating content, and if you look at Facebook, you'll see my content. And basically, I talked about things. Why did I go to mediums? It was grief, you know, missing my loved ones, and talking about the impact of mediumship on the sitter. I mean, it's not like I came on saying I've been doing this since I'm 5. I started doing this to learn. I feel I don't think it's a gift. I think it's a skill, and I think anybody can do it. I think some people are born with the ability and they don't have to learn, like math. You know, I can't add, I can't tie my shoelaces for shit. So what can I tell you? You
Mm.
know, other people can do that naturally because they haven't been
Yes.
taught to turn it off.
Now, are there any relatives or any people lineage in your family, grandparents, great grandparents that actually possess the gift?
Well, I never met her, but my grandmother, um, they say she had the ability. And of course, she grew up in a time when it was not embraced by people.
Correct.
But they said that she had certain abilities. And unfortunately, she was murdered. And I never got a chance to meet her, and I'm named for her. But she comes through a lot of times when I go for readings, and I
Mm.
feel that she's sort of a spirit guide, and she helps. Um, but I think the one who really made the difference for me was my husband. We were a team in life. We were together for 48 years. We built a business together, many businesses. We did a lot. We were together every day of my life since I was 16. And
Wow.
and you know, the thing was that we made a pact that we would always work together. And I think he's held up his end of the bargain. And I feel that I feel his support, and I feel that he actually brings in the souls. And when I'm not
Mm.
getting it, he's there to shout at me, "This is what you're missing." So I,
Okay. I was going to ask you if you were up to it, if you wanted, because I know you have to have live people in front of you. Would you be able to give me a mini reading?
yeah, sure, I could try, but I want to ask Angela something first.
Sure.
Angela, were you born able to do this? Like you did it from an early age? Because they're telling me, like when you were little, you saw a grandmother or something. Did you see
Well,
it?
no, when I was very little, they say that whenever you're born, at some point when the brain develops, you get a spark. It's like you get this spark. And I can remember I was a baby and I was just beginning to walk, and I can remember this spark hitting me. And I mean, I'm a baby and I'm thinking to myself, I got this, my stomach just went to the pit of my, I just had this terrible feeling in my stomach. And I said, oh my goodness, not this again. Meaning I'm into this another life. I'm into another life. And I'm like, oh, please, not this again. And this sadness came over me. And I thought about, I want to go back. And I knew I couldn't get out of it. And I knew, but so I remember that at a very early age. And then I had a lot of out of body experiences whenever, I mean, before 6 years old. I mean, I would, and then a lot of dreams, very prophetic dreams that I would tell my mother, and my mother would listen to me. Now, my mother was always interested in the field. And it was years later that she found out that she was very psychic.
Mhm.
And growing up and living with her, she always had read the Edgar Cayce materials.
Right.
Um, she was into reincarnation. She was into everything. I thought she was weird, and she used to listen to country and western music. And I used to be so embarrassed because she was a spiritualist, but she was a Pisces. She was a free spirit, Pisces. Well, she was very good. She would make, I mean, she would sort of like, she'd say these things and they would come true. But actually, years later, when I began working for the government, the first thing they asked me to get into the psychic program, they wanted to know how you were raised. They were like, were you raised strict? And I said, pretty liberal. And they said, how did you get involved with, knowing about this? And I said, well, my mother always had the materials, and I can remember having experiences. And they said, I was, because my mother, I was allowed to have the experience, or I was allowed. Sometimes a lot of kids will have the experiences, but they're told to be quiet, don't talk about it.
Right.
So it shuts them up.
Well, years ago, if a child was left-handed, they used to tie that child's hand behind their back and they wouldn't let them write. And it's the same concept with this. When your 5-year-old comes in and says, Grandma was at the bottom of my bed and Grandma's been dead for 7 years, they tell them that's your imagination, and people are afraid of it. It's
Yeah.
unfortunate.
Yeah, but I remember the general saying, in other words, whatever was going on, I was allowed to have it. And then I developed it, I think when I was 29 or 30, things started happening again. Again, it could have been due to my father's death. So then I really went into studying and trying to know things. And my mother was very interested, so she was taking the classes with me. And the people would tell her that were teaching us, they said, you're highly evolved.
Mm-hmm.
So, and my mother was so proud of herself. So every time we go out and meet people, she'd say, "Hi, I'm a highly evolved."
That's really adorable. Who made you a rag doll out of like old clothes? Why am I saying a rag doll?
Probably that was you know what it was? It was that. Did you ever see those monkeys that they? It was it was more a monkey than a doll, and I think one of my aunts.
Yeah, because
we would pass that thing. It was everywhere.
and it got beat up, right? It was like really abused and beat up because they showed me that. So, is there an aunt with a name like Ethel or Edna or Ida, like that kind of a name?
Yeah.
Is she the one who was made? Was she the one related to these dolls?
Yeah, it was. It was one of my older aunts. But
Like,
then I had a younger aunt, and she'd pass it around to everybody. But there was a Ida. There was not. It wasn't Ida. It was an Italian name that sounded like Ida.
yeah. It's really interesting. But I am hearing a name that starts with a vowel, and they're saying you won't know it, but that kind of a name. Like what I got was Ida or Edna. So
that would have been my. It was like Ina. It was like a Nina or something. It was Italian. It was Italian.
Yeah,
like Nina or something.
Got it. But definitely. Yesterday I was doing a reading, and she was in Singapore. It was on, and she was Hindu, and I said to her, I don't know much about Hindu religion, so I hear a name, but I don't know if I'm allowed to say this name. I don't know. And I said, I see a V and I hear Vishnu. I don't know what that means. And she goes, that was my husband's name. And he was the one who had passed. So I was glad that I said it. So sometimes you just have to sit out of your ear.
I got to get rid of this phone.
Oh, okay. Peter, you wanted a reading. And I want to know, do you have somebody with a name like James or Jimmy that's passed? Is there a J name that's passed? James, Jimmy. And it feels like it's a contemporary to you. It feels like it's somebody who would have been a friend.
A Jim or Jay? Not that I'm aware of.
Sometimes J or G could be a G. It could be George, but I do have definitely. It feels like it's a contemporary or an uncle. It could be an uncle, but somebody who's close in your age. A J
could it have been a business partner?
It absolutely could have been a business partner.
As far as I know, he's still around. I don't know if he's passed.
Okay, so I want to ask you a question. So is that Jim or Jimmy?
His middle name was James.
Okay. Could it be that his parents are passed? Did you know
his parents? Yes.
Okay. Were you close with the mother?
She was my second mother.
Okay, because she's coming through. I heard Jimmy. I didn't know if they were passed or not passed.
Yes.
So she's coming through. Did you have was there a fight and you lost contact with this fellow? Was there
he stole from me.
Yeah.
He stole from me and we went our own separate way and I was not permitted to go to the funerals.
Yeah. Who's Helen in relationship to her? Helene?
Helen was her mother.
Was her mother. Okay.
Yes.
So that's another validation that this is her. And she says, you know how he is. She kind of shrugs her shoulders and says, don't blame him. You know how he is. I kind of get the feeling that this is a guy who does something and never sees that he's wrong. Like he could justify doing anything, he had an excuse that explained why he did it. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, he was very narcissistic and very self-absorbed, and there was no sense of guilt whatsoever.
Yeah, well, she says if not narcissistic so much as a spoiled brat. She said she spoiled and indulged him. So
She did spoil him, yes.
she's taking responsibility. She's really sorry he did what he did to you. And it put you in a bind. Like it put you off track. Whatever you were doing, it kind of knocked you off your track. And she said she did everything she could to pull you back from the other side. So she wants you to know that opportunities coming your way, that she's pushing them in your direction as kind of a penance or to right the wrong. Do you understand
Does,
what I'm saying?
does she know a decision that I'm about have to make?
I'm not picking up on anything more specific than that. And
All
she
right.
made pink roses, beautiful pink roses. Did you send her pink roses, or what?
I sent, yes, I sent her when she was alive roses, flowers, yes.
Yeah, so she's I mean, they're beautiful. I mean, these are like top shelf. This is not the kind of schleppy little roses. That these are gorgeous roses.
I used to be a millionaire, and when I was a millionaire, I would buy very elaborate things.
That's what she's like. These are roses like Miss America would get. She's showing me.
Correct,
Yeah,
correct.
she says you're always going to be a millionaire. Take that out of your thing. You're always going to be a millionaire. And she's not talking about money here. She said you have a millionaire mindset. And she
Okay.
says money's just an object to get you more things, but you'll always be a millionaire. Do you know the word charmant? Do you know that word charmant? I don't know if you know it. If you don't know what that
Shaman?
no,
Did you
charmant.
say shaman?
Charmant.
No.
Charmant means generous. She's using
Oh, generous.
generous. It's like somebody who's so gracious that money doesn't matter. Like if she's giving me a for instance, like if she came over, you would say to her, "Yeah, go get your hair done," and you'd pay for it, or you'd take her to get a manicure, a pedicure, a massage. Like you never cared. Money was not something for you to hoard, but to spread around and make people happy.
Yes. I went away with, yes.
Peter, she says, what did you learn from it? What was the lesson for
That
you?
I learned from being with her son
Yes.
in business.
Yeah.
I learned how to live independently, and I learned how to not be so gullible.
Okay. So she says, so in the pain of this breakup and this relationship, you got richer, but not
Yes.
with money. You got richer. Your life
Yes.
improved and it opened you up to different things. And she says, I don't know, I don't know if I'm assuming, but she's kind of indicating that you hit like a rock bottom. I don't know if it was a rock bottom emotionally or financially, but I think you hit a low point when this happened.
Emotionally.
Emotion,
Emotionally. Yes.
emotionally. And she's saying there's only one way up from that. And you proved that you don't stay there. So,
Yes.
like bully for you, you really proved that even when you hit a low, no matter how old you are, no matter what your circumstances are, you could pull yourself out. And money is just a secondary goal.
It is second. Does she know where I might be moving? Because I have to move and I don't know where I'm going.
I'm not picking up, but I do see warm weather.
You see warm weather.
See warm weather. It actually, look, I don't know why, but like Canary Islands, like I don't know if you're thinking of moving out of the country, like Puerto Rico or Canary Islands.
Oh,
I do feel like I'm getting that kind of a feel, like off the mainland, maybe Hawaii.
yeah.
I don't know, but I am feeling more Atlantic, and
Atlanta.
yeah, I do feel like even you may move to a place that has an island within the states, but I do
Oh,
see
wow.
palm trees, warm weather, and like that turquoise blue ocean.
Well, I was given an offer to move to Palm Beach, but
Yeah.
I can't afford it.
She says, "Give it time, give it time." Who's Barbara? Barbara.
Oh, Barbara's a friend.
Barbara's here or on the other side?
She's here.
Is Barbara related to this woman? Did she know?
No.
Why would she bring up Barbara?
I have no idea. I thought she was going to give me another name. I have no idea.
I'm also getting Patty or Patricia.
Patty is a friend. Barbara Jones. Oh, Barbara is the middle name of my aunt.
Okay, and your aunt is on the other side.
No, my aunt's here.
Aunt's here. Your mom
Yeah.
is here, or your mom is on the other side?
Mom is on the other side.
This is her sister,
This is her sister. Yeah,
and they were close.
very close.
Like she's telling me like Siamese twins close, but not really. But like she's showing me that cartoon from Disney. We are Siamese, which
Yeah,
is like
they were very close. Yes,
like Jaja and Ava.
yes,
Close, right? Get what I'm saying?
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And I see them almost arm to arm touching, bare arm. Like that would be my symbol that they were very close sisters.
Absolutely.
So your mom, when she left, was there anything going on with her head or her brain? Was something going on in the brain area?
My mother had pre-dimension and Alzheimer's.
Right. She says it was a bitch. I'm sorry if I'm using the wrong language, but it's them
No,
talking.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Because it was a bitch. Because what she's indicating is she knew everything underneath, but it was almost as though she was behind a pane of glass and she couldn't get herself to be understood. And she says, even said, like, what really irritated, she couldn't button her shirt. Like, this really bothered her. Like, she couldn't do the simple, like, just the simple things.
Yes.
Yeah, and it was. Did she have like a smoker's voice? Like, who had the smoker's voice?
My mother was a smoker, and she did have a smoker's. Yes.
Yeah.
She did. A deep voice.
Yeah, because I get that, like, that kind of cough that smokers have. So
Yes.
And who had a name like Hetty, Eddie, Edie? I'm picking up like it's around your mother, and it feels like it could be a friend. Hetty, Edie. I'm not quite hearing it, but did she have a friend?
Hetty or Edie? Yeah, all of her friends are gone.
All of her friends are gone. Did she like play mahjong or bridge with the friends?
She played bridge once a month with two friends. Yes.
Two friends, and they're all on the other side.
They're all on the other side.
Evelyn, Evie, Evelyn.
Evelyn was her best friend.
There you go. So she's indicating she's with them, and they're playing. Like what I see is a table that could be like either they're playing mahjong or they're playing bridge, whatever. But there's a bridge table, and they're playing. Yeah, and I can hear them laughing, and they are wild. They are cracking up. And there's lots of chocolate bridge mix around. So I don't know if she used to eat those Brock candies. You remember those old Brock candies?
Oh, I remember. Yeah, Mom was very meticulous around her weight.
But the other ladies, I'm sure, enjoyed it. Like if she was hosting.
Yeah, yes, Evelyn liked to nibble at everything.
Right, nuts, those kind of things. I'm seeing like dishes, and they are just having a great time. And is there a Harry? Harry, Harry? An Uncle Harry?
My father's name was Harold.
Harold. Okay, and is your father on the other side?
Yes.
Okay, so were your parents not together?
My parents lived together, but they had not the greatest marriage.
Because what I'm seeing is he's here, she's there. They're together, but they're not together. So she wants you to know that they're still the same way. But he leaves a mess. Like she can't take him. He leaves a mess wherever he goes. He leaves a mess. She's indicating.
Oh, he's still leaving a mess?
Yeah, he's still leaving a mess. She says, I'm not cleaning up after him anymore. So I think things have not changed. Your father, did he go from the throat or the chest? Was it lung cancer?
My father, they gave him morphine, and eventually his heart stopped.
His heart stopped. But did he have a problem with the throat or the chest?
Yes, he had a problem with the throat and the chest. Yes.
Because he hits me in the throat. I get a tickle there, an irritation. So,
Yeah.
and he wants you to who like to bet on the horses? Who like to bet with horses?
My grandmother loved betting on the horses.
Okay, and is there a Lily in there? Is there a Lily, Lillian, Lorraine?
Lillian is my natural grandmother.
Okay, and is she the one who liked the horses?
Lillian also, no, the other grandmother loved the horses.
Okay, and is there an M name with the other grandmother, like Molly, Marilyn, Marie?
Millie.
Millie. Okay, so Millie was the horse lover because she's at the track. She hasn't left the track. She's still there. And I can hear her screaming at the horses. She's holding her tickets and she's just having a good old time. But we're not at Ascot. This is like the horse track. This is like Belmont. You know, this is
dope.
yeah, yeah.
This
And
is
it's
gambling.
over at OTB. But the other grandmother, I forgot the name, that Lillian. It was an L name. Lillian.
Yes.
She's more of a homebody. Did she have a cat? Did she have a cat?
I think she had a cat. She was a very sick woman when she was still in this life. She
Because I saw her in a house in Brooklyn, almost like an apartment, and I don't know
yeah.
if it's Brooklyn, but yeah. But I feel like she's in a little kind of walk up in Brooklyn, and there's a cat, and she's quiet. She's sitting at a little table for two.
Yes.
Is Sam that goes with her? Sam or Stan or
Sam was my grandfather's brother.
okay, was that the man who was married to Lillian, or that's Millie's?
No, the man that was married to Lillian was somebody else. No.
Okay, I do hear Sam calling in. And who was decorated in World War II? Who has the triangle flag from
That would
World
have been my grandfather, I believe.
Okay. And
Yes.
I'm also hearing Fred, Frank, Francis, that kind of a name. Fred, Frank, Francis around that grandfather.
Oh, okay. That I don't know who that is.
Okay. All right. You can ask your aunt who the relative
Yes.
is. But it could be a friend, it could be anybody. Do you have any questions?
Well, nobody really knows where I'm moving. I can accept that. I wanted to find out because the one that came in was like my mother, the one that came in.
Right.
Her daughter-in-law offered me to come and live with her.
Okay. So she came through. So I would say that, she's pointing in that direction.
I guess I was surprised that Betty came in.
Yeah. And does she live near water?
She's not far from water. She lives in Franklin, New Jersey.
Okay, Franklin, New Jersey. I mean, that's not palm trees, but it's a beautiful area.
It is a beautiful area, yes.
So if you have an offer, I would say what I'm getting from Betty, you told her name, I didn't. But what I'm getting from Betty is take the opportunity to regroup, do what you have to do. I don't think it's going to be permanent there.
It's not going to be permanent there.
It's not going to be permanent. There's going to be another move, and it'll be where you want to be. In other words, if you take this move, it's going to take the pressure off of whatever is going on.
Right.
And then there's going to be another move within a year or two where you're going to be where you want to be.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Yes. I'm just curious. Does she know if her son is still alive?
I'm not picking up on it. Did he have an alcohol problem or a drug problem? There's some kind of an issue with him.
He had 4 heart attacks and he was told he couldn't drink.
Okay, I don't know. I'm picking up that if he is alive, there's something going on where he's not, let's say, not in the pink of health. He's not doing
in the pink of health.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that was amazing. That was amazing. And I didn't expect anything less amazing from you.
All I am is a telephone booth. That's it.
Well,
Well,
yeah.
Grizzly is dialing the telephone booth right now to
Oh,
see if
why
you get anything.
Did you want for
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see if Phyllis picks up on anything.
All right, go for it, Lady
Who's
Phyllis.
Susan Grizzly? Is there a Susan or a Susanna or something with an S, living or past? A Susan, Sharon, that kind of a name, an S name.
Oh, that I have to think about.
Okay, if you have to think about it, a cousin maybe, but I do hear, and I hear that sound, and they're saying it's like an older name, like Susan would be, one of the old-fashioned names. But your
I have
grand,
a Susan.
you have a Susan. Okay, so I am hearing Susan. When you're on with a group, very often you will hear.
That's my first cousin.
That's
Okay.
all right. I said cousin, so that's your first cousin, and she's here, correct? She's here.
She's
alive.
She's alive.
She's alive. Who around her? Who has a problem with breast cancer around her?
I believe that may be her daughter.
Okay, so that's what they're talking about. So, I mean, the daughter is alive, but she's battling. What I hear is going through it, and she, they have a lot of good stuff going on now with things like breast cancer. So
yes,
so things are looking up.
Okay.
So so that was actually for you, but
That was for me.
Yeah, I know your grandfather. I remember from the last reading, he was here when I got on with you. Your grandfather was behind you. And he says he just stays in the background to make sure everything goes on all right, that you don't have technical difficulties.
Right.
He's like watching your back. Do you have his rifle? Did he have an old like shotgun or rifle? Do you have
Yes.
that? And
Yes.
was this like a really special, like, did he take you out when you were a kid to go hunting with this?
Yes.
Yeah, and it's meaningful. It's not like,
Yes.
like, and he says you're taking care of it, like you oil it the right way,
Yes.
and you make sure that the wood stays like you can't just buy a gun and leave it. You have to
Right.
take care of it. So he's commending you that you're taking care of this family heirloom that meant a lot to him. And did his father give him that? I mean, this gun seems important. Like it feels like it's a family thing.
Yeah, he was an avid collector.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And do you also have? He's showing me like Colts 45s that are antique, like they're valuable. Do you?
Mm-hmm.
You have like two of them. Like he's showing me like a Wyatt Earp thing.
Yes.
And but they're unique in some special way. He's talking about them being very unique. Do you understand what he means?
Yes.
And was one of them used in like the Spanish American War or something? Like
Yes.
showing me the Spanish American War. So these are really historical pieces. Do you also have like an ammunition canister from the Civil War or something? Like there's
Yes.
some kind of he's really he's taking me for a walk through his museum, and that's what he's calling it. He's got all these collectibles, but you have other memorabilia from the Civil War that he's extremely proud of.
Yes.
And you have an ancestor who fought in the Civil War.
Yes.
Yeah. Is this stuff from your ancestor?
That I cannot validate.
I'm not feeling it, but I just asked that's out of curiosity. And who's Charles?
I think that was his brother.
Okay, and that's your grandfather's brother, so that would be your great uncle. And who's Red? Is Red a dog that passed?
Yes.
Yeah, and Red was the name of the dog. It's like
Yes.
yeah. And was that a hunting dog?
I believe so.
Yeah, because what he's showing me is an Irish setter. So that's why I picked up on Red. I don't know that that's what the dog was, but he's showing me like a spaniel or one of those hunting dogs. And your fondest memories are when you were a little boy, 8, 9
Yes.
years old. He's showing me, and he would take you out, and he would teach you about the trees and what was edible, what wasn't edible. Like he was a real outdoorsman.
That is correct.
Yeah. Was your father in your life?
Yes. Well, not really, but he was always away.
He was away because what I'm getting is he stepped in as dad because
Right.
he couldn't be there. So he wants you to know he's still standing beside you. And who's Edward or Eddie?
Uh, that is a family member. A great uncle, or I think a great uncle.
Okay. All right. And so he's also passed.
Yes.
And is there an Irene or Leanie?
Yes.
Irene, or was she known as Leanie or something? Because I don't
Yes.
know if that's two separate people, but I don't know if it's Irene and then Leanie. And is this your grandmother?
Uh, we used to call her Marlene was her name,
Uh-huh. So
but
that's where it comes from. Yeah,
yes,
yeah. And but she wasn't your grandmother, but you called her grandma, right?
we call her that or Mom Mike.
Mom, okay. Because she comes in and said, did she used to wear her hair up in like a bun?
Yes.
Yeah. And did she used to stick pencils in the bun or something?
Yes.
Yeah. Because she's showing up like nothing's changed and she's got flour on her hand. She's like wiping her.
That's her.
Yeah. You know, she's been, and like you can see the dough is kind of hanging from like she was rolling the dough for biscuits or whatever. But she's still feeding them there. Like whatever's
Oh wow.
still feeding.
That's Mom Mike.
Yeah. Yeah. And is there a story about a turkey gone wild for Thanksgiving? Like that, there's like, I don't know if maybe a chicken that you chopped the head off and it ran around. Like they're talking about a story.
When I was younger, that happened. Yes.
Yeah. So, but is there a story that you couldn't catch it or something? Because
Yes. When my mom's sister lived on a farm.
yeah,
And they were trying to teach her how to clean an animal, and that's what happened.
yeah, because they're talking about that. So, you know, because I see like a fowl running around, or
Right.
whatever, and I see someone running after it. So, mom is here, or mom's on the other side.
Mom's here.
Mom's here. So, I want to say her mother is on the other side.
Yes.
Is your mom going through something right now, health wise? There's something
Yes.
on with your mom. She's struggling a bit.
Yes.
Yeah. Please let her know that her mother is with her.
Okay.
That she's helping whatever she can do from that side. She's helping and doing whatever she can. Okay.
Okay.
Is there family in Canada?
Yes.
And like I'm talking about from the 1600s, they weren't
Yes.
settled in Canada.
Yes.
Maybe they were Phil du Roy. Do you know about Phil du Roy?
Yes. It goes back to Ottman's.
Right. Yeah. Right. And did they come down through the Mississippi to where you are now? Because
I think so.
yeah. And was there were trappers in the family? Because
Yes.
they're taking me through the whole family history. It's a really rich history, and they're showing me red soil or red rocks. So I don't know what that means. Do you know?
Interesting. No, not right offhand.
Okay. Usually I associate red soil with Georgia. So I don't know why they're showing you that.
Oh, the lake.
Okay, so that means something to you.
Yes, that does, because it's got red soil down there.
Okay, so you go to that's your summer home.
Yes.
Dad is here, or Dad's on the other side?
Dad's here.
Dad's here. So are your parents together?
Yes.
Okay, so let them know that their parents are watching over them.
Okay.
Yeah, your grandfather's kind of laughing because I feel like he feels he has to help your dad with everything. Do you understand?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Like he says that boy never learned how to do anything.
Yes.
How to like take care of him. So he's still got that role that he's watching. I mean, don't show Dad this. I don't want Dad to get mad.
No.
He still treats him like his son, and he's taking care of him. So do you have a sibling in spirit?
No.
You don't?
Yes. Yes. She had a miscarriage when I was a child.
Yeah. So it was a sister. And ask your mom if that baby was going to be named Susan. I'm sorry, but I'm hearing that
Sure.
Susan again. But ask if ever Susan was on the table, or an S name, Susanna, whatever. Ask if that was on the table for that child,
Okay.
girl. And did you lose a dog recently?
Yes, not too long ago.
Yeah, and it gutted you. Like
Yes.
it gutted you when you lost that dog. And I feel like you were really close with this dog.
Yes.
And you had it for a long time. The dog was old, right? Because
Yes.
showing me like his face was gray, and he couldn't eat. His teeth fell out. He's showing me
Yes.
he couldn't chew. He couldn't chew the.
Yes.
And he wants to thank you. Did you help him to leave? Like,
Yes.
yeah, he says you got to let go of feeling bad about that. He says you treat dogs better than humans with that. Sometimes they should do it. Take a human round to the shed and do what you got to do, because it's the way to take care of. It's more humane. He says we're more humane to our animals than we are to people.
It's true.
And so he's thanking you for helping. Did he have one eye that was blind or something? He's showing.
Yes. He was going blind in one eye.
Yeah, he's showing me, like he said, he was useless. He couldn't do anything. Couldn't run after the birds. Couldn't hunt. Couldn't walk. He just couldn't do all the fun things. So it was time to go. And he said,
Right.
where all dogs go. All dogs go to heaven. So you should know that.
Right.
You got to fix it. So he says, thank you for being a good provider.
Wow.
Phyllis,
Interesting.
I ask you, if people that are watching our show would like to book a reading with you, how can they contact you?
LadyPhyllis.com. All they have to
Phyllis.com.
Phyllis.com, and there's a calendar there. They can book. I do readings, and if anyone's interested in taking the course, it's worked out. People love the course. I have level 1 starting again in January. It's all up there. I have a gallery reading, I think Tuesday, where I'm doing a group. That's a little bit cheaper than booking a whole, a half hour, an hour.
How much do you charge for readings?
I charge $195 for a half hour, $295 for a full hour, but I run a special every month. Like this month, there's 20. If you type in NOV 22, you get 22% off. And the gallery reading, I want to say, is $88 or $79. I don't even remember what my son did, but it's limited to 10 people, and it's pretty full right now. I think there's space for 1 or 2 more, and it might be tomorrow night. I don't even know. Tomorrow the 14th.
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah. So I have a gallery reading tomorrow night, and there's still space if anyone's interested.
Yeah, I also wanted to find out, do you see the spirits, or do you hear the spirits?
You see, that's what I describe in my book. We have 5 senses. And,
yes.
And just like we have 5 or 6 senses, if you will, that's how, I teach a way to see spirit using all of your senses. For instance, when I was speaking with Angela, I smelled tobacco, so I don't know who was on the other side. I didn't know who it was, but I smelled definitely cigarette smoke.
They all smoke.
Yeah.
With my husband, I'll smell cigar smoke. I've smelled cherry tobacco. I've smelled weed. So there's all different ways. Sometimes I'll get the taste, and I was tasting when she was talking about I was tasting the floury taste of biscuits. I can taste. I hear. And I do see. I have clairvoyance. It's something you feel. Like I felt certain things, so that's claircognizance. Clairsentience is just knowing things. So I teach people how to recognize what they're doing. For instance, a simple exercise. People don't realize that they're getting stuff. So if you look at this book and you read the word out loud, mediumship, right? Read it?
Mediumship, yes.
Now read it with your mouth closed. Don't say it. Just say it in your head, right? And you said it, right? You heard yourself say it? That's what it sounds like. You've been getting messages all this time. You're just ignoring them because you think that's your inner voice, or your inner, that's your own imagination. It's not. And we are constantly getting downloads. Your grandfather says he's throwing pennies at you all day long. You got to look for the pennies. If you look down, you'll see pennies, Grizzly. So, what's up with bear claws? I know that's part of your thing, but do you have nails? Like he's showing me actual claws.
Yeah, I got them put up.
Yeah. Did he get them for you?
Yeah.
Okay, because he's showing me like they're black hard bear nails.
Yes.
Yeah. So very often you'll see things and you never you say it's a coincidence. Or for instance, I told my daughter-in-law, she was missing her father. And I said, your dad said, look for ladybugs. And she didn't believe, but she got out of her car and there was a ladybug on the window. Now, was there a coincidence within 5 minutes of me saying I wasn't with her? I was on the phone with her. And so is that a coincidence? A skeptic would say, that's a coincidence. Someone who believes would say, I got it, Dad. I saw the message. So if you ask for messages from your loved ones, ask for specific things. Like ask for something like, I want to see hearts, not something you see every day. I want to see hearts. So sure enough, watch, you're going to look into the bank and there's going to be an advertisement and there's going to be hearts all over it.
There's going to be hearts all over it.
Right. So they will put your eyes to where you need to see. And like I said, there's nothing, everybody can do this. It's a matter of cleaning out that third eye and wiping the cobwebs out and believing that you are seeing what you're being shown.
Yes. It was funny because recently, yes, I used to work with a famous medium, and she always said to me, when I pass, look for dimes. Well, she passed, I was looking down at the floor, I saw dimes. I looked at the desk, I saw dimes, and I saw a dime. And that's what I was picking up. But what's so unusual about you, mediums can, and I've worked with a lot of mediums before, but you're very detailed with the names, the circumstances, and that helps the individual really very quickly connect and know that you are indeed connecting with their loved ones.
I teach the concept of proof and truth.
Mm-hmm.
You have to show proof. Anybody can say, "Oh, I see your mother's here, and she misses you, and she loves you." Yeah, sure, Or that last fight you had, People often have fights, but you have to come up with something that is specific. You have to come up with something evidential, a name, a circumstance, like a chicken. And the truth is, like I said, I teach people. We are getting these pictures all the time, these images all the time. How do you tell the difference between your imagination and a message from spirit? Spirit's message is fast.
It's very fast.
It's kind of like watching a train or a kaleidoscope. It's very fast, and you have to reach in and cherry pick what doesn't belong to you.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Since the last time you were on the show, the little things that I see during the day, I'm now embracing them. I'm looking at them and I'm saying to myself, this is a message from heaven.
Right.
The little nuances, I just ignored them. I don't ignore them anymore.
No, it's nice because it's comforting to see that they're around you. And certainly numbers. If you see certain numbers, 1111, if you see sequential numbers or 1234 or 777, if you're seeing messages, you're getting they're trying to get your attention. They're trying to pull your attention.
Now, master numbers like 333 or 444. I'm also noticing more 11s and more 22s. This, I take it that the guides. Now, the other question that my guides were asking me to ask you, did the master guides ever connect with you? Do you ever get messages from master guides?
I don't know the difference who's talking to me.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's like everybody has a spirit guide and they've always got some weird name like a Nachnu or whatever.
Exactly.
I'm a person who has to see and has to know that it has to be. I don't know. It has to be proof for me. I have to
be proof for you.
So if I'm going to say that, I have proof that my husband's bringing it through because I could see, hear, and feel him. And the fact is that now I'm able to bring through whatever I told. I don't remember anything that I told you right now. I don't remember the names. I'd have to sit here and think about it because I'm not My logical brain is shut off. I'm just sitting out whatever they're bringing me. Literally,
Well, your short-term memory, when you give a reading, your short-term memory turns off, so
right.
you don't remember.
You-
But yeah, you just don't remember what you're saying. And that is true about you have to give people something, even.
Right.
But
Right.
yeah, I know. Like when my spirit guide was George. I mean, that's just a very simple name, George. But it doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't matter who you're receiving from. It could be a master guide. It could be an Indian. It could be a joy guide. I know that whenever the teacher I used to study from always said I had joy guides. And then there's prophets, there's teachers, and sometimes you're a relative that someone on the other side can be your your person.
Yeah.
And there's angels, and then you've got the fairies.
Right.
So it doesn't matter where it comes from. You just have to say it because it happens. The energy, you're holding the energy for so long. And however it comes in, whether you hear it, whether you see it, whether you feel it, it doesn't matter. But you just have to say whatever's coming in. Because even whenever you watch the people on TV, like John Edward and the what did she call it? The new
Long Island Medium.
Yeah, they're fast. They're fast. And I went to see John Edward live in Baltimore, and he came out to the audience and he said, I'm going to pick whoever I pick up. He said, I'm going to start talking, but do not interrupt me and do not ask me questions. He said, let me talk. He said, it may not make sense to you at this time. It may make sense later, but don't interrupt me. And he said, and when I'm done, I will tell you when to ask. He said, I will prompt you when to ask the questions.
Well, if you're going to ask questions, you're going to turn on your thinking brain. So if you turn on your thinking brain, you're not going to be receiving information.
You're not going to be receiving them. Yeah.
So you have to. It's kind of like the way I explain it to people. You're sitting at the kitchen table, and your spouse says, "Go get the ketchup," and you get up and you go to the refrigerator, and you're looking in the refrigerator, and you don't see the ketchup, and you say, and he says, "What's wrong? Where's the ketchup?" And then I don't see it. And he walks over and it's right in front of you, because when you're oblivious to what's going on. I mean, if someone, God forbid, shouts fire, I'm running out of here. I'm not oblivious, I'm not in a trance. But the point is, you're concentrating on what you're hearing or seeing, and it's fast, and it's not spelled out. Like I said, I saw a turkey running around without a head. That was what I had. And then you have to translate it. You say it, and maybe it meant something else. Maybe your grandfather used to say, don't run around like a chicken without a head. Maybe that was a saying and not literally a chicken running around or a turkey.
Right.
So you have all you can do is report what you see, and then the sitter has the obligation to then take it and make something with it. What I tell people when I start is, I may tell you I see a bottle, and your response is going to be, oh my God, I had a dream about that bottle last night, because it has nothing to do with me. It has to do with your interpretation or how it comes to you. And very often I'll get letters from people saying the next day, oh my God, I kept saying no, and this was my aunt so and so, or this was that. Go ahead, Angela. I'm sorry.
Well, we collect information. We can't analyze it, and that's what people. When you give readings, people go, "What does that?" I don't know. This is what I'm getting. It's like we collect, but we cannot analyze.
Yeah, we shouldn't, because this is why I explain to people, I don't want to know anything about that. I don't want to look at their Facebook page, because I can look at that Facebook page and I'm going to assume that the person they're standing with is your spouse. Maybe it's their brother. You don't want to look because you don't want to make any assumptions. The first reading I ever went to, we were a room of 30 people, and it was George Anderson. He's a very famous medium in New York.
Oh, I remember him. Yeah.
I just had a reading with him last week. And we were in the room, and we were skeptics. We went in. I was more of an open-minded. My father, my husband were skeptics. My mother was more open-minded. And it was interesting because there were all kinds of people in the room with us, and just looking at them, you make assumptions. So one of the couples was an older woman with a younger man. So right away, my brain said they were there for her husband, his father. I made that assumption. There was another couple that I couldn't tell how old they were. I figured they were here for their child. So it turned out that, he started reading them, and he determined that was the aunt, and his mother had passed. The man's mother had passed.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't make assumptions because there's a million different. I could say apple to you, and it means something completely different to Angela,
Right.
or to Peter. Everything means something else to somebody else. However, in a group reading, there's piggybacking. So you've heard of
Yeah.
where
Mm-hmm.
I'll read something. I kept saying Susan for you, and it meant something to Peter. So very often when you're doing a reading, even though you're directed to one person, Spirit's getting a message to another person as well. That's why I like galleries.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Well, do you want to give your email address one more time?
Yes, please.
Oh, so it's www.ladyphyllis, LADYPHYLLIS.com. Please follow me on Facebook. I'm 10 people short of 3,000. So sign up.
Oh, okay.
I do a lot of videos on explaining about mediumship. I talk about chakras. I talk about crystals. I try to be informative. It's not all just book me. There's like a real exchange of knowledge going on. And,
Yes.
and then again, great stocking stuffer. If you want to buy one of my books, they're on Amazon under Phyllis Oaken. And you could take a look at the book and see if it makes sense to you. And of course, if you want to take the course, we have a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Well, this has been great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Phenomenal.
You're very good. Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're terrific. You're terrific. So I know we're almost at the end, but Phyllis, you always
Thank you.
amazing.
Thank
Thank you for coming on as a guest again. And I will make sure we rerun. I do that every week. I go into Grizzly on the Hunt and I take a show and then I repost it.
Great.
So hopefully you'll get calls and business.
Okay, thank you.
And ladies and gentlemen, go out there and let's give her 20 people instead of 10. So let's put her over the edge. So, and from coast to coast and around the world, we'll see you tonight at 9:00. Everybody, take care.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Phyllis.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Phyllis.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ha ha ha.